us offline. During this time, it's a lot of people that are off work, and also they're not a lot of people watching movies, streaming stuff online. So unfortunately, internet is not that good during this time. But what I was saying, Mr. Silla, is basically, yes, he did take the officer taser, but he was running away. That taser was not going to be able to uh, kill those officers, and he didn't have any other weapons on him. That's the reason why, when he was running away, they shot him in the back. So in the U.S., that's not a reason to kill a person. No, he wasn't. He is a danger to the public. No, he's not, because that wasn't that taser. Once you fired, you have to have another cartridge in order to use it again. He was running away and was shot in the back. That's kind of like if a cop asks you to stop and you refuse to stop, you don't want him to shoot you in the back. So it's not that he was running away, uh, he was shot in the back. So that's where we are on that part. And it's just one of those things where that happened way too often, where a lot of people don't not doing anything. And apparently, I thought when I talked to you last time, we kind of had a agreement on it. Um, but you don't understand the history of the police department in America, and exactly how it is here for people to unarmed person to be killed by the policeman with no intent, with nothing that is for no reason. It been cases where you could just be sitting at your house and get killed. It was a case last week where a guy was at his house. Police came for some odd reason. They knocked on the wrong door, came in, and ended up shooting the guy, an unarmed man. So, um, yeah, it was just a bad cop. No, it's a lot of good cops out there, but it's also a lot of police killing in America. Um, have you on twice for some reason, Mr. Simmons? Sorry about that. Um, okay, I guess it actually put you in twice, but Mr. Seller, he actually going on a rampage. You still there, Mr.? Okay, there you
Yeah, I got it.
go.
I was in there 3 times.
Okay. Um, he's kind of going on a rampage, talking about um, the fact that he stole the taser. Yeah, he feared for his life from the moment. He feared for his life.
Okay, so I think, okay, I think number okay, yes, he stole the taser. That wasn't right at all. He made bad choices. Yes. I'm not going to say at all that was the right choice for him. That was totally wrong for him to steal a taser. That does not warrant his life being taken.
Exactly.
They have had many occasions where they have been white kids, white males that have done worse things and are still walking this earth. They have had where white men have killed multiple people and they have had a trip to Burger King. They have been taken in with no problems. So I think police need better training. Just because you get in a scuffle with someone, the police life was not in danger because of that taser.
The threat was gone.
The threat was gone and it's in their handbook. So we can argue the fact all day that, yeah, he did steal the taser. It was absolutely wrong, but there was no threat from that taser.
And he was running away.
And he was running away. So the police officer knew it was a taser. that police officer knew he didn't have a gun because he was already patted down. So it would be different if they never patted him down and a police officer could have said, I didn't know if he had a gun. He knew he had no weapons on him. That
Exactly.
police officer was going for his gun before he turned around. We can look at that tape all day long. So, no, I'm not going to excuse him grabbing the taser and say he was justified. He was not justified grabbing that taser. He should have never run from the police officer. You don't do that. You don't get in a scuffle with a police officer. I totally agree with that. There was no reason for that. He was not being roughed up. They were talking to him. He decided to run, bad choice. But that does not give a right to kill him at all. You cannot justify that.
There's no way they can justify it because, kind of like what Miss Simmons said, that we've been having a lot of mass shooting here, and a lot of the guys when they're caught after killing all these folks, shooting at all these folks, what they do, they get rewarded with Burger King. They get them something to eat, something to drink. Not one time
Some
have they
water.
shot him. Like the one that killed someone a couple of weeks ago, and they found him. He was on the run for almost a week. And when they caught him, they sat him down and gave him some water. And he killed folks. So I'm like, hey, it's not a justification of it. Um, but at the
But it's
same
not a
time,
death sentence.
it's definitely not a death sentence because there been guys that um, I forgot the guy name in Ohio, the one that got pulled over by the police, and if you are licensed to carry a gun, you are entitled to give your driving license and your permit to carry. And he turned around and I believe that's Castillo, Philando. Um,
Yeah.
he gave him his license, and the guy asked him if it was a weapon and a gun. He said, yes, it's between the seat. He did not go to that area, and the cop shot and killed him, and he got off scotch-free. And it was on video. See, a lot of these cases, when an unarmed man is being killed, it's caught on video. So that's the reason why the protesting is going on. I believe last time you asked why Black Lives Matter. You could Google the video. He asked, where can he see the videos? Google the videos. Killing in America by the police department, unarmed black man, and you will find a bunch of them. So with George Floyd, the man put his knee on his neck, had his hand in his pocket, smiling, and come to find out, he knew George. They used to work together. So this was not a complete stranger. So,
right.
And that's why he's in jail. But he don't only need to be in jail, he need to get the full intent of the law. And as for the officer in Atlanta, same thing. You killed this man running away. When your threat is over, it's no reason to shoot. That's the reason why officers have to do all this training, chasing folks, stuff like that. That's part of their job. He was just too lazy to run. He knew the man didn't have a gun on him. So,
well, it was more of a maybe his ego kicked in because he kicked him afterwards. So it wasn't he feared for his life. He was mad. He was angry because after he shot him, he kicked him.
Well, the thing is, that particular cop, he asked the question. I don't know if you can, Simon.
Yeah, how do you know he killed Mr. Floyd based on race?
Exactly. Because this officer had like 18 different complaints of abuse on him from black and brown Americans. And So all his complaints came from either a black person or a Hispanic person. And then he knew George. And it's an interview where one of their co-workers said there was a problem between the two of them. So not only that, um, okay, I don't know if it was 70. He said if he recalled it, he had over 70 abuse report. That's way too many. Okay,
Yeah,
some
I
people
don't
gonna
know.
lie about an officer abused them and stuff like that, or are they gonna take it a little bit higher? But when you have that many,
Hmm. You shouldn't have one.
exactly. If you treating everybody fairly, you wouldn't get any
Hmm.
marks against your record. So that's why
Hmm.
when when the people was around him playing with this man, saying, "Hey, he can't breathe, get off his neck." George Floyd is on the ground calling for his mother that been dead for 2 years, and he's telling him he can't breathe, his stomach hurting. Even one person said he's bleeding out his nose. Even after paramedics got there, he still continued to sit on his neck with his knee. They check his pulse the first time. He's still on his knee. Then when they grabbed the stretcher, that's when he finally got off his knee, off his neck. At that point, it was too late. So tonight, what we're talking about, because so many people have expressed their frustration dealing with the racism in America, um, and if you look at videos, you see um, white folks calling the police on black folks for no reason at all. Um, it was a young lady, and I think it was up in Michigan. Uh, Young lady leaving the grocery store. This woman stood behind her car, refused to let her leave. Um,
Hmm.
so it refused to let him leave for the simple fact that her child stood up on the shelf to grab some juice off because the child wasn't tall enough. So we have to deal with stuff like that. And when these people call 911 and the cops come out and they let them go, well, here in America, if you're abusing the 911 system, you can be arrested. And this is happening so too many times. Matter of fact, one state actually just changed their law that if someone does that, that person can sue them. And I can't remember which state it was, but it's happening so much. I seen this video before we came on, and it really upset me. This woman called 911 on this guy, standing in front of his car, telling the 911 operator, "Oh, he's running over me. He's running over me. Send me help." And the guy's not even in the car. He's standing outside the door. So those are the type of things we have to deal with. So, and yes, our police officers, it take, I'm gonna put this question up. It actually take they do need more training. And he said the only thing I can agree in is police seem to have excessive force issue in the US that need reform, but that is in hold on. That's all he said. But so here in the
And
US,
I think in the UK and some other places, they may not have racism as it is in the United States. And I think I remember my pastor wife said it. She's from Jamaica. And when she came to the United States, she said in Jamaica, they have all colors. If you're Jamaican, you're Jamaican. They don't say white Jamaican, black Jamaican, whatever. You're Jamaican, you're Jamaican. And when she came to the States, she's Jamaican. I think her mom is Asian and something. Her dad is something else. And she has African in her from some side. Um, so she's mixed with everything, but she's Jamaican. And she said in Jamaica, they celebrate slaves because what slaves built. They celebrate that. If you come from a slave, that's an amazing thing. You should be proud of that. So when she came to America, and I'm just paraphrasing, when she came to America, it was the opposite in a way. And when she became a citizen, you had to check a box. What race are you? She didn't know what to pick. She's a mixture of everything. And she noticed how, because she's a lighter skin, she was treated differently. She didn't get that because she's a mixture of everything. And she stands up for darker skinned people because her husband is African American, which means her kids are African American. So why are you treating this dark skinned sister different than you treat this other person? So for the UK person that was speaking, he may not see racism because they may not have it where he is. But when you come to the United States, which should be the melting pot, is the melting pot for some. It's not the melting pot for everyone.
Well, he
It
actually,
depends on the color of your skin is how much of the melting pot you're going to get.
well, when he came on a couple of weeks ago, and I want to say welcome to the show, Stephen Finley. I see you. Thank you for tuning in. Like, share with a friend. But when he came on a couple of weeks ago, he mentioned a term that that the police call uh, the the black people in UK. And Mr. Seller, if you could put that term up again, um, for she can know. Um, I forgot what it was, but it was,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, hey, he said it was in the gaming center. Then he also said it was, that's the term that the police use when they dealing with a foreigner. Bam, Bam is the name. Um, so he said the black and minority, they call them Bam. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the term that the police use over there when they are dealing with someone from a different race. Bam.
Mm-hmm.
So, and
Mm-hmm.
my whole thing is, it shouldn't be that. I think what should happen, one of the racist things that we have, and I thought you was gonna go there when you talked about when she first came to the U.S. She had to check this box, and one of the biggest things we have on job application, after your name and all of that, they want to know what race are you? What difference does race make
Mm-hmm.
if it's not a problem?
Mm-hmm.
They need to remove that off
Mm-hmm.
of job applications, because basically, if the wrong person checked that box, they won't even get called back for an interview.
Mm-hmm.
So we that's something that America needs to take off a job application. And I don't know if y'all have to do that in the UK, but here you have to put it on there. So, and if you put other or refuse, prefer not to answer, um, you're probably not going to get a call back. Um, well, it could be diversity quote, but it also been proven here in America that by your name sometime and by your race, some companies would not even give you the opportunity of come in
Mm-hmm.
and do an interview for the simple fact you may be well qualified for that job,
Mm-hmm.
but because of the stereotype that people have in America, you won't even get the opportunity to do an
Mm-hmm.
interview to present yourself. So that's the type of stuff that we're trying to change in America, that need to change. But when we have a leader that talk about peaceful protest, kneeling, and talking about kick the SOBs out and all of this, but now just last week he come back, oh, I agree with the NFL. Yeah, I guess if they need to protest and kneel or whatever, I think it's okay. But a couple of years ago, you talking about kick them out. for a peaceful
Mhm.
protest that had absolutely nothing to do with the flag. And by the way,
Mhm.
I'm still waiting for Jerry Jones to give a statement. I'm I'm waiting on it. I know it's not gonna
He will
happen,
never give a statement.
but I feel that he needs to give a statement because he was adamant that no cowboy player would ever
Mhm.
kneel for the flag. So that's the type
Mhm.
of stress.
And they never will.
Exactly. That's the type of stress that we have to deal with as black people,
Mhm.
Hispanics. That's what we have to deal with. Now, Stephen, I know, and Stephen is actually a professor in Louisiana. Dr. Stephen Finley. I'm sorry. Um, he's a professor.
What part of Louisiana?
Stephen, what college are you? It's somewhere between Baton Rouge and uh, somewhere down there. Uh, it's not
Mhm.
LSU, but it's one of those major college down there. So
ULL,
no, if you say it, I know. But he
Southwestern, Southeastern.
no, uh, not quite sure. But hopefully he'll come back on and
Mhm.
put it in the chat. But he's a professor, strong brother, and it's just one of those things where even as a professor, it doesn't make a difference what job title you have.
Mhm.
Police officer look just by the color of your skin, you are a threat here.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
I don't I don't wish to hijack your talking point, but out of curiosity, was it big news in the U.S. Black Lives Matter terrorist attack here in the UK on Friday that killed 3 people? I haven't heard that. I don't. I guess it one one problem that we have with a lot of these protests. There's some other group actually paying
Mhm.
people to be a part of those protests, but they're not a peaceful protest. Normally, the ones that are uh, tearing up stuff that are not peaceful, those are the ones that's probably working for some other group that is getting paid to do those type of things.
Mhm.
So when it happened, only thing people look at is a Black Lives Matter protest,
Mhm.
but they not looking at it's not necessary Black Lives Matters that are doing this because one police officer, I believe it was in Mississippi a couple of weeks ago, came out and said they arrested some people that was pretending to be a part of the Black Lives Matter movement, but they wasn't, and they was sent there basically to uh, cause a riot, looting, and all of that. So that's what we have to deal with. We can have a peaceful protest and take a stand, but when you have folks that want to disrupt that, that's a problem. And now it looked like it's Black Lives Matters movement, but it's really not. It's just the wrong people in the crowd. That's all it is.
Well, they show that on I forgot what news station, but it came out that all of the with all of the protesting, with all the fires that were started during the protesting, they found out that was white nationalists or something like
Exactly.
that. The FBI stated that it had nothing to do with the Black Lives Matter. It was people that came in, infiltrated the Black Lives Matter movement, and it was the white nationalists and some other organizations. Just
Well,
like with the last shooting, the last shooting that happened in Atlanta, the lady who started the fire in Wendy's was a white lady.
yes.
They don't know if she was tied to anything, but they have her on surveillance, I guess, purchasing the stuff. But
They
it had nothing, it was not an African American person started the fire. It was a white lady that started the fire. And she doesn't look like, um, she looked like an average white lady that started that fire. So it just shows you that we get the bad rap And we have to, there's another thing mentally we have to deal with. We're trying to do something peaceful, but then we're looked at on the news across the world as, see, they can't even take care of their own stuff. They're burning up their own neighborhoods. No, we're not burning up our neighborhoods.
It's the
People are
people from
coming
outside.
in, white people, Anglo people, other people are coming in and burning up our neighborhoods, and we are being blamed for it when we're doing peaceful marches.
Exactly. And they actually they know who the lady is. She's
Mm-hmm.
actually um they have identified her, but they haven't let the public know who she is. And
Mm-hmm. They
probably
showed her picture, but I don't know. They had her picture, her picture and everything on the news. I don't
yes.
think they gave her name.
Um so it's I'm trying to so it's definitely, if you just Google um who started fires in the Black Lives Matter protests, it'll come up.
Mm-hmm.
It will come up.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Google the video, and it's a video of the young lady starting the fire at the Wendy's
Mm-hmm.
where Rayshard Brooks was killed. So definitely take a look at it and see. Um, and um,
They
it's
also have postings of them starting fires and other things in Minnesota. Was it Minneapolis?
Minneapolis.
Um, in other places, they have them actually showing them doing those things, starting those things, because people caught it on their cameras and say, "Hey, what are you doing?" And it shows them breaking in AutoZone and getting these things set up to start the fires. So all of that's it's on I don't know what website, but I'm sure you can look it up.
And also, while you're also looking at pull up the Tulsa riots and the riots in Black community back in the early 1900s. That um, these particular towns where they was basically, how they say all the time, pull yourself up by your bootstrap. But these were some very rich towns that was owned by Black folks that white folks came in and destroyed the town. Tulsa, Oklahoma is one. Um, they call it, I believe it's called Greenwood neighborhood. Look at it, had black
Mm-hmm.
banks, uh, a lot of black business up there. So definitely Google that type of stuff, um, and we would definitely you'll get some history of America, because they probably not going to talk about that in America. It's LSU. That's where you work at, LSU.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but also, I'm sorry, I lost completely track of time. I said I wasn't gonna keep you on here that long, but hey, we're gonna we're gonna work out a schedule where she's able to come back, or other counselor can come back and be able to be on the show. Now tomorrow, 9 p.m. We're gonna be a little bit later tomorrow, due to the time difference. We're gonna be talking with Lisa Johnson family. Um, and Mr. Cello, thank you for coming. You're always welcome. And tell your friends, share it. Have a good night. I know you said it's 3 in the morning there. I appreciate you for staying up and listening. Um, Tomorrow night we're actually going to have Lisa Johnson family um, out of Kings County, Washington, which is basically in the Seattle area. She was killed earlier this year, and they listed as a suicide without even investigating it. Like I said, her car was found 3.5 miles in a parking garage than where she was found. Purse missing, money taken out the bank, no idea what happened. So definitely tune in tomorrow. Miss Simmons, always, I really appreciate you.
No
Thank you for
problem.
taking time out your schedule. And I apologize, cause I know I told you an hour and we got the rolling.
That's
Um
okay.
so I appreciate it, and you're more than welcome to come back whenever you want to. Um and I know it's kind of late. You've been working all day, so I really appreciate it.
Hmm.
Thank you for taking time out. And until next time, I will see you all tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Central Time. 9 p.m. Central Time. And we we need to help this family tomorrow. So until then, I love each and every one of you. Peace.